Hey guys, Tim Wilson UK here, and welcome along to another video in the series The Golf Club. So if you watched the last video, you know that I'm actually working through the seasons at the moment, and I am currently in season number 1, which is the local club season. It's the very first one in the series of seasons. I chose to start right in the beginning. It's been fairly easy. It's rather amateurish, as you can see there. You know, massive scores, 3 wins out of 3. The final one, the fourth and final one in the season, is a 2-round tournament at Little Brook Manor. So we're just going to finish this one off on this round. So let's get straight into that. So it's round number 2, or the final round in the season. For those of you, if you enjoyed the previous round or the previous videos in this series, hit that like button. It's right there. Hit it. Go for it. Nothing's stopping you. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos in the series, subscribe to the channel. It's appreciated. It really is. As I always say in every single video, if you subscribe to the channel, it keeps me interested, keeps me going, and keeps me posting videos. So, not a good start. 89% drive on the first one. Rushed through it while I'm chatting away here. So let's just get some concentration going here. See if I can get this nice and close to the pin. I posted a really low score on the very first round, and that's not going to be great because it's 97% power, but it's going to be within 10 feet and give me an opportunity at a birdie on the opening hole. So 11 feet, slightly downhill, not going to give me too much bother, and that should be in. Yes, drops in the left hand side of the cup. Yeah, so I think shot 16 under on the first round, so that takes me to 17 under overall. I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble winning this tournament. It is pretty straightforward. It's not a difficult course. That's another 98%. I'm not holding it long enough on the backswing. It should be interesting when it starts to get more difficult. So I would imagine as you progress through the seasons, the actual difficulty level should increase as well. Let's just see if we can get back-to-back birdies here. There's got a bit of break on this putt. Could it be too hard? Get in. Creeps in the right-hand side this time. So 2 under through 2. I think my aim on this particular course is to try and, or this particular round, is to try and birdie every hole. I know that's not always easy on the par 3s and some of the long par 4s. But on the par 5s, the short ones like this one, where they're drivable in 2, should be able to get close for a birdie and potentially even an eagle, depending on how close I get. So that's going to leave me 220 to the flag. Alright, slightly uphill. So is this going to roll on through? The pin's not that close to the back. Difficult with these ones. Should I club down, which means that I'm going to come up short and my eagle putt's going to be long. Let's add a bit more. In fact, let's leave it where it is. Hope we get a bit of roll. It's going to be on, but it's going to be a fair old putt for an eagle. I reckon that's going to be about 15 feet. Yeah, got a lot of break from left to right. Let's give it a try anyway. Short and left, so didn't allowed too much for the break and didn't hit it hard enough, but picked up a birdie. So that's 3 under. As I say, I'm going to try and aim for, because it's not a difficult course. If anybody's played this, you can back me up on this. I mean, look how open this par 3 is. Nothing really to challenge you. Pins at the back, green's fairly flat, bunker in the front, not posing any problems at all. Let's see if we can get this nice and close. 141, 140 yards, got the wind slightly behind, so let's put this really close if I can. A little bit long. So the toughest thing about this game, even when you're playing an easy course, is working out the wind. So for those of you that haven't played it before, It's just getting your head around the wind. Now I know there are a lot of people out there, there's a lot of forums that give you help on, you know, elevation change and winds and stuff like that, but the more you play the game, to be honest, and that is the first par I think I've got this round, yeah. The more you play the game, the easier it becomes, and the only thing that I really work out is elevation change. Obviously it's not going to play too much of a part when you're teeing off, unless it's a short hole and unless it's massively downhill or uphill. When you've got something like 23 yards, 23 feet, for those of you that don't know, every 3 feet equates to a yard. So if it's 23 feet down, round it up to 24 feet, you know, 3/8 of 24, so that's an extra 8 yards that you take off of it. Doesn't really matter on these tee shots. The most important thing on the tee shots, make sure you get a full backswing and you follow all the way through, because if you don't get a full backswing, that's when you end up with the 80, 90, 93 round there percents. And if you've got water in front, or you're trying to carry water, that's when you end up in all sorts of bother. So you've got 38 yards. Let's just run through this. I would take the closest one to this is going to be a pitching wedge flop shot, 40 yards. Take a little bit off of it just to allow for that slight movement to the right for the wind. Just check that the ball's not above or below your feet, because that will have an influence on the shot. Make sure you get a full swing again. Pop it up there and it should be within a couple of feet. Yeah, there we go. And then that should be a tap-in birdie. Once again, the putting is by feel. The more you play this, the more you'll become accustomed to it. That's 1 inch downhill is not going to be too much of a bother, so literally just give it a little tap and it'll be in the hole. As I say, the only thing I work out is elevation changes. I know there are calculations for winds as well, but I really play according to feel with the winds. There's not really... I haven't really tried any of the calculations for the wind, to be honest, and I'm not really that bothered by it. I like to just play the game by feel. And as you saw from the first couple of shots on the first couple of holes, occasionally I do get a little excited with the swing and come down too early from the backswing and end up with the 89, 93% type shots, which are never good. So this kind of shot here, 139 yards, 7 feet, so that's going to be 2 yards we're going to take off that, so that's 137 yards. A little bit of wind, not going to have too much of an effect. We've got a 145 club in the hand, so we need to drop this, and you can see the first bar we've got here is 87, but that's going to drop it down too much. So I'm just going to take a little bit off it, like that. As I say, it's all feel. Ball is going to roll forward a little bit. Didn't quite get 100%, but that might be okay. And that should stop fairly dead because it's a lofted club, so that's going to be within 5 or 6 feet. There we go. Little bit of movement from left to right, not too much. That should just pull it back to the middle of the hole. Let's just check. Yeah, straight in the middle of the cup. So that will take me to 5 under through 6 holes. Hopefully I can pick up an eagle on one of the par 5s, which will bring me back to a birdie per hole. Alright, we've got another par 3 here. Let's see if we can get this close. 172 feet. With the elevation change, it's 176. It's a fairly long shot, so take 3 yards off of that for roll, because we've got not a short iron, but it's not a long iron. Obviously a 3 iron, a 2 iron is a long iron. You're going to get a lot more roll out of that because the trajectory of the ball is going to come into the green hotter, shallower, which means it's going to have a lot more roll on it. This is going to have a couple of yards worth of roll on it, so 172, 176. Let's take 3 off of it for the roll, so it's 173. We've got a 170 yard club, a little bit of wind, so I'm going to play this as it is, 170 yards, and hopefully it should roll up to the flag if we get it straight. Make sure you get 100% on the backswing. Looks nice and straight as well. Roll up to the flag. Yeah, and that's just beyond pin high, 173 yards, so spot on there. A lot more. You notice the beads moving across the green, those little white lines moving, so they're moving faster on this hole than they were on the previous hole, so it has to be a little bit further outside the left. It's still a shortish putt, 6 feet. So the one that's got the flag on it is where the flag is. The other one is just showing where the marker is. So the marker is showing I'm aiming 8 feet, but the putt is 6 feet. Moving from left to right. Oh, and I allowed too much for the break, which means I'm going to pick up a par on this hole. So that's 5 under through 7. So I've dropped 2 shots according to what I'm aiming for. A birdie on every hole. So okay, so this is where you have to have a look at your calculations. So it's putting a 3-iron in the hand purely because of the fact that we're playing up to water. Now if I was to take a driver, where would that put us? It would put us smack bang in the middle of the lake. No wind behind. Alright, wind slightly into our face. So this is going to be a 3-shot to the green par 5. So I'm just going to push this one down towards that bunker. 5-iron, not taking it too close to the bunker because I think a 3-iron, let's have a look. 3-iron, you're taking that bunker on, risky stuff. So you want to bring it back to a 5-iron, maybe a 4-iron at a push. And just roll that ball down the middle of the fairway and give yourself a nice lie for the second shot, which is going to be, you're not going to be challenging the green on the second shot, not unless you can hit that ball 260 odd yards. It's 246, so maybe reachable with a 3-wood. Let's have a quick look. 245 with the elevation change, 250, but you get a lot of roll with the 3-wood because it comes in hot and low. So let's see if we can get there and give ourselves an eagle putt. Nice and straight. Yep. Now we need it to slow down, which it will do because we've got soft greens here at Little Brook Manor. That's going to give me about 15 feet for eagle, so this could bring one of those back. Slightly uphill, so I'm going to push the marker out a little bit. A little bit of movement from left to right. And not enough pace and not enough allowance on the break. So let's just have a tap in birdie there. 6 under through 8. So didn't capitalise on reaching the green in 2, but still a respectable score. Right, nice short par 4. So this hole, if you had a wind behind you of 10, 11, 12 mile an hour, this would be reachable in 1. It's slightly uphill, but if we can get a nice drive here, like that, nice and straight, that should give us a nice little pitch into the green. That's gonna be about 45, 50 yards, so it'll be a nice little pitch. Yeah, 42 yards, 41 yards with the elevation change. Let's take a smidge off of this 45-yard lob wedge and try and put this right next to the cup. 95% power, so didn't quite hit it hard enough, but it's still going to work out alright. It's not going to spin back too much, and this should be a fairly straightforward putt. Alright, so 7 under through 9, ripping it up again. 16 under I think I was on the first round, so that's what I'm going to be aiming for now, because I've effectively dropped 2 shots with 2 pars. Probably being a little harsh on myself. 172 with the elevation change, so let's leave that where it is. Where is the flag? It is right in the middle of the green. Move it over to the left a little bit for that wind. And that looks pretty good. Nice and straight. That's going to be right pin high, that is. Spot on. Nice straight putt. No problems there, another birdie. Alright, so the water is drivable here, no problems. You can see a nice wide landing area. Don't push it to the right because you've got that bunker and also the water to give you bother. Nice and straight off the tee. 98% power, so I didn't hold it back for quite long enough. That's still going to put me in proper position for the second shot, which is going to be a nice little, probably be, yeah, pitching wedge into the green. 102 yards, 105 yards with the elevation change. Now I know that that line is roughly around 102 yards. Now I need 105, so let's bring it back a little bit like that. Move it over slightly for the wind. Make sure I hit it straight. A little bit left, but as you can see again, pin high. Alright, slight movement from right to left, not an awful lot, and it's fairly flat. Another birdie. Alright, so going along nicely here through 11 holes. I'll have a look at the scorecard at the end of this so you can see how it's progressing. 265 yards, so another one that's going to be a short iron into the green. Probably something like a 9 iron, maybe even a pitching wedge. 270 yards, yes, it's going to give me 75 yards. Pitching wedge, pitch. So this is, the pitch shot has a little bit of roll on it, not an awful lot. I need 77 pretty much, so this is going to be spot on actually, because I'm going to get a couple of yards, maybe a yard roll out of this. Make sure you get 100% because that's where you come up short. And there's your yard roll, and then it checks up nicely right next to the flag. I suppose the reason I'm going through this like it's almost like a golf club lesson, or the golf club lesson for beginners, because this is an absolute peach of a course to learn how to play on, because it's nice and wide open. This allows you to hone your skills, get your drives nice and straight, because that's the toughest thing on this game, is getting the drives nice and straight, or getting any shot nice and straight, because it's a flick motion on the stick. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I'm actually playing on PS4, so using a controller, it's a flick motion on the stick. So it's a perfect course to actually learn how to play on, and I hope these little tips I'm giving you here and there make the game a little bit more enjoyable for you, because you start shooting some low numbers. So 131 less 7, so that's going to be 124. Wind slightly behind. I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to add a bit more to this club, purely because of the fact that I'm going to rely on the more loft that I've got on this club to stop the ball dead. Need that to come in a little bit. That's dead on. Come back. Oh, didn't get any backspin, but that was pretty much spot on. Little bit of movement on this putt, slightly downhill, not going to bother me at all. The 1 inch downhill is not going to be a problem. Let's have a quick look after 13 holes at the scoreboard. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of yellow on there. 2 what I would call slight blips on this course that are pars, because this is definitely achievable that you can get birdies on every single hole if you have a good round, potentially even eagles on the par 5. So this is a 273 yard par 4. So this is almost, in fact possibly even with a driver, this is going to be drivable. So this could be an eagle hole if we get this nice and close. It's straight. Oh, it's slightly off to the left, so that could be bunker bound. And it is bunker bound. That's going to be plugged, so that's going to, unless I can get this in, that's the eagle out of the question. Now, a lot of different people play these shots in a lot of different ways. Some people use the pitch shot out of the bunkers, some people use normal shots out of the bunker. I tend to like the flop shots. I tend to leave it on 30 yards irrespective of what it is. Put a little bit of loft on it just so I get some check, because out of the bunkers you don't tend to get the backspin, so they don't check up naturally like a flop shot would, so you need to put a little bit of loft on it just to add that bit of check. Now the difficult thing with a flop shot out of the bunker, or around the green even as well, is getting how much you actually play. Now what you can do here, you can see 71 to 91% lie. 84% here is about 26 yards or 24 yards there or thereabouts. We want 12 yards, so this is where the game comes down to feel again. So you know that that's going to be a full 30 yards, maybe less because of the lie that we've got, so maybe around here is going to be about 12 yards. So you just want to have a couple of practice swings like this just to get the feel, and then you want to play your shot. And as you can see, that should be about 5 feet. Could have been closer, not the best I've played, but it should be enough to get the birdie. Alright, couple of holes, few holes left to play. 4 holes, 15, 16, 17, 18. Nice little par 3 here, almost an island green. In fact it is, yeah, it's got 2 little bits there. 170 yards on the button. I'm going to take a little bit off for the roll. And I've hit it short, so if that doesn't hit some grass, I'm in trouble. And that is lucky, because that's 93%, and that just shows you exactly the kind of bother you can end up in. Alright, so let's play another flop shot. We're going to do this exactly the same, 88 to 93%. Same as what we did in the bunker a few minutes ago. A couple of little practice swings. See if we can get this nice and close. That's going to check up. A little bit more roll on that one. And then should give us a fairly bread and butter putt here again. There we go. But that one's for par. So 3 holes left. I think, let's have a quick look. 2 4s and a 5. So we should be able to get at least a couple of birdies out of these last 2 holes, which will give us another nice respectable low scoring round. Nice short par 4 again. Par 4, yeah, 320 yards. Into the wind, so we're not going to get on the green, but we're going to get damn close, which means that we're going to have probably a pitch into the green again. It's going to be about 60 odd yards, I think. 51 yards. 49 with the elevation change. Let's drop that down and add a little bit onto this, not too much. Let's see if we can get this close. That was skew. 98, so that's going to be a bit short, is it? It's okay, a little bit short, but nothing to give me too much of a headache. Alright, another par 4 on 17, 323 yards, so we're just going to smash this out past that tree. There we go, past the tree on the right hand side. You could probably use a little bit of fade and bring it in so it's straighter onto the hole, so you're not playing across the bunker with your second. But I'm not too fussed about the bunker, provided I get 100%. So we got 37 yards here, so I'm going to use the flop shot. 35-yard flop shot, because that with 3 yards off of that is going to be 34. Let's take a bit off of this, because we've got the wind behind and it is a yard. You'll also notice the ball is slightly above my feet, so that's going to move off to the left-hand side. Let's see if I can get this close. I haven't hit that 100%, and that was terrible, and that's exactly what will happen if you don't manage to get that 100%. Come too fast back on the downswing and don't allow for that full 100% backswing. Uphill, moving left to right, and I've left myself a tough putt here for par. I know, for birdie. Turn, not enough beans, the line was perfect, make sure you give it enough power. So we pick up the par, but disappointing there on that par 4. Final hole, par 5, nice long hole, fairly straight. Shouldn't have too much trouble getting there in 2, because it's 484 yards, which is fairly short for a par 5, because there are par 4s that people are creating now that are around the same kind of distance, which make par 4s incredibly tough. So we've got an iron into the green here, it's 206 yards. I'm going to use this 195 club because I'm going to allow for a bit of roll. Got 100% there, it's coming back in, so it should be nicely on line. It's going to get a fair amount of roll, and it's going to leave me about a 12-13 foot putt. So 15 feet for an eagle. Would be nice to finish the round off with an eagle, but they're always a bonus. Never taken for granted, and I've underhit that one again, so make sure once again you give it enough to get to the hole, because leaving them short is criminal. But that's a birdie to finish the round. 14 under, so that is going to be with the, oh there we go, first 500 points. Congratulations, won the event. Let's have a look at the season. Let's see what happens now. But I think I finished 29 under par for the 2 rounds. Let's have a look. Here we go. So 56, so that's through all the events. I haven't had a look at the stats. That must give you, that gives you your overall stats, so we're not going to have a look at that because that's pretty irrelevant for this particular season. 2,000 points, 4 wins, advance. Let's see what happens now. So season result first, 2,000 points. Congratulations. Okay, so what it does, let's have a quick look. So trophy room, so there we go, 1 trophy local club season, and if you open it up it just shows you where you finished in each of those particular events. Oh yeah, and it also shows you how many rounds each of you play on each of those. So what I'm going to do is select in the season now. It's automatically moved on to the amateur season, so let's select that. And we will leave it there on this particular video, and we'll pick it up on the first round of the amateur season. So remember guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, feel free to subscribe, and if you want to leave any comments, some of you guys do, and they're always appreciated, and I do try and respond to the comments where necessary. So if you want to leave some comments, right down below in the box, but I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then guys, take care, bye.